Hey guys, it's Dad. A friend of mine recommended we try out Phasmophobia, and so I watched some gameplay, and it didn't really look like a game I would enjoy right off. I typically play things like Warcraft, Overwatch, or Minecraft. He insisted it was a blasty, so I picked it up and we ran it as a group. In this video, I'm going to talk first about the general concept of the game, a basic how-to, and then my first impressions towards the end. So with that said, let's get spooky. Okay, so when you're playing Phasmophobia, you're either going to be alone or ideally with some peeps, and you're hired to investigate a paranormal situation, basically looking for a ghost. You're going to be rolling in like Batman with a variety of gadgets and game knowledge to figure out what type of ghost you're dealing with. Nailing down the correct ghost type, snapping some pics of proof, and completing some shuffled objectives is going to provide you with tens of dollars to spend on even more gadgets. When you first load into the game, you're going to find yourself in a very well-lit warehouse with a bunch of equipment you're not able to use yet, along with a collection of empty shelves that you or someone else decorated with coming soon signs. The first thing you're probably going to want to do is go into your settings and check your key bindings and make changes. Do this by hitting escape and selecting options. Once you're done tinkering, walk around and check out your sick pad. Upstairs you're going to find all the necessities for a professional ghost hunter like basketball, bowling, Jenga, and cornhole, only the best for you and your team in your off time. Use the E key to pick up objects and the G key to chuck them. Down the stairs to your left is a table with your daily and weekly tasks. Complete them for extra gadget dough. If you like to party, you can click on the jukebox and get wrecked by the sick bass, but unfortunately you can't interact with the glow sticks behind the counter. When the party's over, head over to the board or simply hit the space bar from anywhere in your lair. This will bring you to the center board. The main center board is where you'll see your ghost hunting intern card. Clicking your portrait will allow you to cycle through a massive 8 models with no customization, but if I'm being honest, the character models don't really matter all that much. There's also titles that can be unlocked during special events. This main screen is where you're going to choose how you want to play, either with friends or lonely, and you'll see your listed tasks. Once you select either multiplayer or lonely, you'll be able to get started on setting up your game. Use those fancy arrows on the side to navigate to the other screens. The screen on the left is the maps. There's a total of 12 maps with a selection of sizes, but you'll be limited to maps as you grow up. Pick your map and head to the right screen where you'll see your equipment and loadouts. This is where you'll spend those sweet, sweet Washingtons. Once you've got your gear added, head to the middle screen and you'll see it listed. Right in the middle of the screen is the difficulty. To see how rough your ride is going to be, click there. Now, I'm not going to go into every detail of different difficulties, but you can read about each one by selecting the difficulty on your character screen and cycling through them. Basically, the difficulty setting will affect things like the reward multiplier, so the higher the difficulty, the more loot you get. Increasing difficulty decreases your setup time, but will also make the ghost shy, so it won't give as much evidence. General ghost activity goes down because they feel less like playing, and hunting phases get longer because they turn into angsty teenagers, and you just don't understand them. Either way, you'll start off with amateur and later yell out, "Bring on the spooky!" and someone will bring on the spooky. Once you ready up and make your way to the house, you're going to be in the back of the truck with the door closed. I can only assume that you guys rode back there. The clock behind the monitor will show your setup time. This timer stops the ghost from hunting while it goes down. The duration is related to the chosen difficulty, and the clock starts when you open the front door of the house. Isn't it nice that the ghost is watching that clock too? The ghost is all, "Oh, if it wasn't for that timer, you'd be so scared right now." Now, the monitor next to the clock is used to watch head cams and video cameras, along with the camera outside of the house, which is super important if you want to try and look at yourself standing outside the truck. As you add cameras, use the mouse to switch between them, and the keyboard to switch to night vision so everything looks like the Blair Witch Project. Next to the monitor is a corkboard that will tell you the ghost name, objectives, and show photos as you capture them, along with your daily and weekly tasks. Now, next to that are 4 important monitors. The first is the site map that will show you the layout of the house, location of the breaker to turn the power on, and the location of team members and some equipment. Then you have the sound monitor that's going to show all the racket that noisy ghost is making after you throw out some sound sensors. And after that, you've got your standard sanity monitor, like the one you have at home. As you hang out in the dark, like you do, your sanity is going to go down faster, and depending on the ghost type, will trigger hunts at certain levels. Now, the last one is the site activity monitor, which is going to give you an idea of the fluctuating level of activity inside the house. A sudden spike to 10 can mean a hunt just started and your friends are going to die while you hide in the truck, but not always. With all that said, if you turn around, you'll see a wall of equipment. This is where that loadout comes into play. At the start, the selection is small, but it won't be long before you have shark repellent on your tool belt, which can hold 3 items at a time. I'm going to go over some useful equipment quickly, starting with the starter equipment. The first item up is the spirit box, which is used to communicate with the formerly living. Along with most equipment in the game, right-click your mouse to activate it and use V to reach out. Here is a list of interactions recognized by the in-game voice software, including, but not limited to, are you a child? How old are you? And where are you? By this time, the ghost replies, why don't you have a seat? But most of the time, this is how you'll be using the spirit box.
Are you here? Are you a ghost? Where are you? Are you here? Are you a ghost? Where are you? Are you here? Are you a ghost? Where are you? Are you here? Are you a ghost? Where are you?
Once you've narrowed down the ghost's favorite room, throw down a ghostwriting book to see if it will pour its cold heart out on the pages, but keep in mind these interactions can take some time. Later on, you can drop 2 of these books and increase your chances and stress out the ghost as it chooses its favorite. The ghost is going to start moving stuff around its new pad, like opening doors or throwing books. Pull out your handy EMF reader and point it at the moved objects to interview it and see what kind of reading you get. A level 5 reading will help narrow things down. In addition to the EMF reader, when a door is moved, grab your trusty UV flashlight and see if the ghost left a mark with its grimy little hands like a toddler. If you find a handprint, make sure to mark it down and also be sure to count the fingers because 6 fingers means an obake. The starter flashlight is one of the best tools in the game if everything you're looking for is 6 inches away. It can also be used to point towards hiding spots when placed on the ground. A video camera can be carried or placed on a surface or tripod and viewed through the truck monitor. You can switch it to night vision to look around for ghost orbs, which are like little glowing mothballs. If you place the video camera on a tripod, you can pick up the tripod and carry both while using only 1 inventory spot. I like to use the video camera to get around in the dark, but my sanity hates it. Carrying around a photo camera is a solid way to make some extra cash. The ghost opened a door, get a picture. It threw a plate, snap a pic of that floor plate as irrefutable proof of the existence of a ghost. Pictures of bones and interactions are always good for quick cash. If you find yourself face to face with a ghost during a hunt, grab a quick glamour shot. Your friends will appreciate it as the ghost chokes you to death. Do you like to party? Well, ghosts like to party, or at least some of them. The last starter equipment is the DOTS projector. When placed on the ground with F, it will create a bright green laser party that some ghosts can't resist. They're like children in a sprinkler. Have your journal ready if you see ghosts doing zoomies through the party sprinkler. So that's your starter equipment that should be enough to get you going on your first hunt. I want to point out some additional equipment that you'll want to add to your spooky arsenal. You know that candle you got for your birthday? Well, bring it along because it's a great way to find the ghost room. Use the lighter from your pocket that you're just holding for a friend and make your way from room to room. When the candle goes out, you found the ghost, or at least its face. But move with purpose because the candle can go out at any time on its own after 2.5 minutes. When ghosts get angry, they get hungry too. When a crucifix is placed within range of a hunt spawn area, the ghost will ignore you for a moment and just take a bite out of the crucifix cookie. They just can't resist. But beware, it's known that ghosts can eat cookies in 2 bites, and then they're coming for you. Ghosts can be salty, at least most of them. A wraith is never salty though because they're just so sweet. Use the salt shaker to make little piles of angry sugar on the ground and watch for them to step in it like your older brother stepped on your Play-Doh men. It's rude, but take a picture anyway to show your mom and the client for a little extra cash. Are you a fan of the House series? Do you want to look as cool as him? Well, when things get rough and your sanity is low, pop a sanity pill and I promise, by the time you're done eating it, you'll feel right as rain. If the ghost starts hunting and you're out of position, light up a smudge stick with that trusty lighter of yours and run past the ghost like Ian Malcolm with a flare. Except this time, the ghost is all, which way did he go?
Well, which way did it go, George? Which way did it go?
Give the ghost the old, nothing personal kid, and vanish from its sight and get to the nearest hidey spot. Also, someone in the truck can light one and protect you because that's how things work. So you remember that dreadful flashlight they started you with? The one that's equivalent to using your phone screen to get around in the dark? Well, introducing the new and improved Strong Flashlight. With its new formula and patent-protected design, you can see in the dark just a little bit further than before. Once you find the ghost room, there's a chance you'll find it simply chillin'. Bother it by pointing a thermometer in its face to check for freezing temperatures.
All right, everyone, chill.
Once you have your equipment equipped, you're going to want to get used to the journal by pressing J. Flip through the tabs to get accustomed to it because you're going to be in here a lot. You can click the top tabs to jump to a section and then use the folds at the bottom to move to individual pages. The journal allows you to check out shots you take and see how you did on the fly. The evidence tab is where you'll track behavior as you narrow down the ghost type. Check off solid proof and cross off ones you are confident have not happened, and you'll either have one or a few options to choose from. Then if necessary, use ghost behaviors to make your choice. The ghost tab is very useful when learning these behaviors. The last thing I want to point out before you run through Death's Door is the cursed possessions. Now there's 7 different items you can find, and every level you play will have a random chosen one. I'll run through them quickly. The haunted mirror lets you peek into the ghost room like a creep. The monkey paw allows you to make wishes, including bringing a friend back from the dead, but it might be at a cost. The music box helps narrow down the ghost location by getting it to sing along to that irresistible jam. The Ouija board allows you to connect with the ghost and ask it questions. Just make sure to say goodbye when you're done or they will throw a fit. The summoning circle is going to make the ghost instant transmission into the circle Goku style and get trapped momentarily. The tarot cards are a fun gamble. Each card has a unique effect. Which one will you pull? And lastly, the tortured voodoo doll can help trigger a reaction from the ghost, but again, this is a gamble. Will you roll the dice? These are all a fun way to spice up your gameplay. Also make sure to get a picture of the item whether you use it or not, and you'll get a nice bag of nickels. Once you're ready to roll, grab the key, click the old pad, and get on in that spooky place. Go on in and use the equipment I covered to track down the ghost room and start gathering evidence. Make sure you check for hiding spots like closets or behind storage totes. Now once the front door slams shut and stuff starts going wild, that ghost is looking for you. Get to that hiding spot without being seen or use the provided tools to dodge it. Once the hunt is over, get back to work. I should add that when you hide, make sure to turn anything off that you're holding or the ghost is going to know where you are. Remember your sanity pills if you want the ghost to chill on hunting for a bit while you do your business. Now one of the best things in Phasmophobia is the incredibly realistic body movements of the characters. These dudes move like your old G.I. Joe action figures, which can make gameplay pretty great as you watch your friends use the keyboard like a chicken. You can also use C to crouch, which is needed for placing equipment and being a creep as you make your way around the house. Seeing it makes my legs burn, but when it's leg day, it's leg day. It's also important to note that you can sprint while crouching, which looks like a nightmare. Once you have your ghost type locked in and you're positive you have the correct one, leave by hitting the pad again in the truck and roll that beautiful bean footage. You'll see a rundown of how much money was awarded and for what. Use that money to get more sweet gadgets and adjust your loadout to take on higher difficulties at the risk of losing it all. We've had a lot of fun playing Phasmophobia, and we've been upping our difficulty to take on higher challenges. The general format is super easy to wrap your head around, but at the same time there's a ton to learn about each ghost behavior, and we've been having way too much fun with the awkward movement of the characters. It's playable solo, but best in a group of 4. I almost forgot to mention, but when you die, you actually turn into a ghost and you can pick up objects and throw them to confuse your friends. Or if you want to be helpful for some reason, you can follow the ghost around and call out their location to your friends from beyond. When it comes to hunts, I'm never ready and usually end up dying, but I still have a blast. The game can get pretty spooky at times, but you just have to suck it up and move forward.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
All in all, I would give this game a give it a try out of should I play it? I picked it up for $14 on Steam and definitely already feel like I got my money's worth. Hopefully one day I can convince my wife to play it, but for now she remains hiding in the back of the ghost truck of life. Well, until next time, bye!